Hi there. In today's YouTube video, I just want to talk about new TV, a lot of issues in the Matrix. It's called Grace and Frankie, and it stars Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. And I came across this program as I'm somewhat recently divorced, and it's basically the story of two women who are cheated on by their husbands for a 20-year period, and they have no idea these husbands are in fact gay, and they've been having this relationship. They're partners in the same law firm, and they announce when Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda's characters are in their late 60s, early 70s. They've had a whole life, they've had careers, they've raised kids, and these husbands come forward and tell them basically what's been going on. And they obviously are stunned, and they have the emotional pain and going through all this, and they have to attend obviously joint events with these men at different events, and you just see all the emotions and the pain, and the husband's canceling the credit cards, and you just see really a society at its best, where things like unconditional love at a time like this don't happen, and the expectation is that people will leave each other with no money. Even they're taking away their credit cards, they have no contact, this family is split down the middle, relationships are severed. These both women go into states of alcoholism and smoking cigarettes, and I mean, it's very hilarious at some points, because at one point they're actually having some form of ayahuasca, and they're taking muscle relaxants and drinking. I mean, it's way off the wall. But I think to some extent, some aspects of this are true, and how people would cope with such a tragedy. They go into alcoholism, they go into self denial, they go into partying sprees. I've seen people that are going through similar circumstances to myself doing that. They're not consuming healthy food, they're eating bad food, they're either losing weight like crazy or gaining it like crazy. They're probably not going to the gym. If they are, they're obsessing over it. Um, Lots of unhealthy coping mechanisms, and this is really shown in the show. Fonda's own children, I guess that's Frankie, her own children can't even cope. They don't want to talk to her. She wants to go back to work, and her own daughter basically kicks her out of the office and says, "Forget it, you're not coming back here." So she's shunned by her own children. She goes to a funeral, and the person who has just lost her husband shuns her and says, "Well, at least I'm not in your situation, and I have to live another 20 years alone. Like, I'm going to die soon. Like, big deal for me, but for you it's huge." So the show just made me sad. I had to shut it off several times, but then I decided to watch more of it just to see how big the illusion is in this show. It's showing people that it's okay for all this stuff to be happening in your life, and for people to judge you and shame you and forsake you. It's the same old program in this new show, which does have some humor in it, but you have to be taken aback and say, this is a lie. This isn't how it's supposed to be. I believe we're supposed to live in societies that support one another. They've had some success with this in places like Bhutan and Denmark, where people do have their own dwellings, but the community exists. The community helps one another. Um, if someone is ill, they bring that person food. They look after them medically. They look after the children. Everyone is kind of, helicopter parenting, not helicopter parenting, but parenting on a community scale, all the children in that area. And in this way, all the needs are met. Everyone has a job within the community, and they all contribute. If we don't have society like this, and we have people who are separated, when tragedies happen, illness happens, breakdown of families happen, if people aren't strong enough to handle it, they go into all these unhealthy coping mechanisms, which don't work for a lot of people. And it's incredibly sad that this is happening in our society. But by recognizing it's happening, and by empowering people such as in this video, you guys can make your own videos and speak to people about this sort of thing. You're waking people up to the reality that should no longer exist. And I'm here at this unique time in history to do such that. And by pointing out very simple things like this show I was telling you about, you can see the writing on the wall, how the program is right there in so many different things. And the body shaming was huge. I never mentioned that. How Jane Fonda's character is so obsessed with her body and how hideous it is, and she can't go out of the house looking like anything. She has to have 1,000 pounds of makeup on, and she's always starving herself. And Lily Tomlin's character is much better. She's kind of the hippie, quasi, um, kind of artsy fartsy character that kind of doesn't care what she looks like, and does stuff for the fun of it and the love of it. So in some ways she is a good example, but unfortunately she's still consuming alcohol and drugs along with Jane Fonda, so she's got her issues, but I guess a slightly better example. So that's kind of what I wanted to discuss today, just questioning what you're seeing in the videos and on TV and kind of dissecting them and looking past what's going on and really analyzing them. How many people actually do that and don't just watch the show frivolously and don't worry about what it's actually doing to their psyche and their brain and their unconscious with regards to the Matrix programming? All right, so that's what I have to say for today, and you guys happy Mother's Day and enjoy the day. Thanks so much. Till next time.